My sister said I wasn't welcome at her wedding because I'd ruined the photos. I sent her a quiet gift instead, a framed picture of her fiancé kissing another girl. She didn't make it down the aisle. I'm Emily, 28 years old, female, and last week my sister told me I wasn't welcome at her wedding because I'd ruined the photos. I can't even describe what that sentence did to me. Like it wasn't just rejection. It was rejection with a knife twist, rejection dressed up in this shallow excuse that made me feel like garbage for even existing. My sister is Claire, 30, the golden child. She's the one who always had the perfect hair, the perfect smile, the perfect boyfriend lined up right after the last one. Growing up, it was like my parents held her up as this glass figurine that could do no wrong, while I was the clumsy extra in the background. But I swallowed it, because that's what you do when it's family, right? Claire's fiancé is Daniel, 32. I never liked him. He has this smug way of talking, like he's narrating his own highlight reel. He's the kind of guy who shakes your hand but squeezes just a little too hard, just to make sure you know who's in charge. Claire fell head over heels because he treats her like a princess. In reality, he treats her like a trophy, something shiny to show off, not someone to actually love. I should back up. Claire and I used to be close. She was the one I cried to the night my first boyfriend cheated on me, the one who snuck me makeup before my school dance, the one who whispered, "Don't tell Mom," when she caught me sneaking in late. She wasn't always like this, but somewhere around college it shifted. She got obsessed with appearances, Instagram perfect selfies, luxury brands she couldn't afford, friends who only existed in her feed. And Daniel fed that side of her like gasoline on a fire. When she got engaged, I was genuinely happy at first. I helped her pick out flowers, tried on bridesmaid dresses, even let her vent when Daniel's mom criticized every detail. I thought I was being supportive. Then, one night over wine, she leaned across the table and said, "Em, I need to talk to you about the wedding." I thought she was going to ask me to be maid of honor. Instead, she told me, calm, almost rehearsed, that maybe it was better if I didn't come. I laughed at first. Like, what? But she doubled down. It's just the photos. You know how important they are, and I don't want anything distracting. That's when it hit. She was talking about me, about my body, my acne scars, my weight, the way I never quite fit into her picture-perfect frame. I sat there frozen, wine glass shaking in my hand. I wanted to scream at her, to ask how the hell my own sister could erase me from the biggest day of her life like I was some ugly stain on her carpet. But I didn't. I just nodded, swallowed the lump in my throat and said, "Okay." Inside, though, something broke, and something else started to grow in its place. Because if she thought I'd just disappear quietly, she had no idea what kind of quiet I was capable of. After that night, I didn't tell anyone right away. I carried it like a secret bruise. Every time my phone buzzed with another family group text about the wedding, centerpieces, playlist debates, cake flavors, I just stared at the screen, feeling like an intruder in my own family. My mom, Janet, 56, female, is the type of woman who thrives on appearances. She runs the kind of Facebook page where every post is about my perfect daughter Claire and her dream wedding. I don't exist in those posts. I'm the child she mentions only when it makes her look selfless. Like, look at me supporting Emily through her struggles. Meanwhile, she never asks how I'm actually doing. Dad, Richard, 58, male, is quieter. He's a keep the peace kind of man, the type who'd rather mow the lawn twice in one day than get in the middle of conflict. He loves me, I know that, but when it comes to Claire, he folds. Always has. So when I finally cracked and told Mom what Claire said, that she didn't want me at her wedding because I'd ruined the photos, Mom didn't gasp or defend me. She just sighed and said, "Well, honey, you know how important this day is to her. Maybe give her this one." Give her this one. As if it was a small thing, not a knife through my chest. That was when I realized they'd all go along with it. They'd all smile for the cameras and let me be erased because it was easier than standing up to Claire. The more I thought about it, the more my mind kept circling back to Daniel. From the very beginning, he rubbed me wrong. I remember the first time we met, at some rooftop bar downtown. He shook my hand with that too firm grip and looked me up and down like I was a product on a shelf he wouldn't buy. Later, when Claire went to the bathroom, he leaned toward me and said, "You know, you'd be really pretty if you lost a little weight. Claire told me you struggle with discipline." I should have thrown my drink in his face. Instead, I froze. That was always his trick, disguising cruelty as casual conversation, so if you reacted, you looked dramatic. Over the years, I caught little things. Him making jokes about Claire's cooking and then brushing it off as teasing. Him openly flirting with waitresses right in front of her. Him bragging about his work trips with this sly little grin that made my skin crawl. And Claire? She ate it up. She called him alpha and driven, like those words explained away the arrogance. I wanted to shake her, to tell her she wasn't his princess, she was his prize, and prizes get replaced when shinier ones come along. The night Claire told me I wasn't invited to her wedding, I went home and dug through my phone, scrolling through years of photos, screenshots, old messages, little hints I'd saved without even realizing why. A breadcrumb trail of Daniel being Daniel. And that's when the idea planted itself. Quiet, sharp, and impossible to ignore. If Claire wanted me erased from her perfect day, then maybe I'd give her something she couldn't erase. Something that would haunt her every time she looked at those photos she cared so much about. Don't forget to subscribe. The weeks leading up to the wedding were like watching a tornado build from across the field. You know it's going to hit. You just don't know when. Claire was spiraling into full-blown bridal dictatorship. She called Mom daily, screaming about linens or crying about whether the photographer could capture her good angles. One night, I overheard her on speakerphone with Janet, sobbing so hard she hiccuped, "If the flowers aren't the exact shade of ivory, people will think I'm trashy." Mom soothed her like she was 5 years old, promising, "It'll be perfect, sweetheart. Don't stress." Dad just sat in his recliner muttering, "It's just flowers," but never loud enough for anyone to hear. I wasn't in any of those conversations, of course. I wasn't in anything. Claire had cut me out so neatly it was like I'd never been her sister at all. No fittings, no rehearsal dinner invites, not even a pity text. My absence was part of the plan, like one less chair at the table. Still, I saw enough. Every time I scrolled social media, there she was. Claire beaming in white at a bridal shower, Claire showing off her ring, Claire bragging about her perfect man. And Daniel. God, Daniel thrived on it. He was everywhere, posing like he was the one getting married. One post stopped me cold. Him holding Claire's waist with one hand while his other hand gripped a champagne bottle like a trophy, captioned, "Can't wait to make her mine forever." I stared at that picture for a long time because all I could think was, how many women has he said that to? See, Daniel had tells. Subtle, if you weren't looking, but I'd been paying attention. The late-night work emergencies. The way his phone never left his pocket, even in the bathroom. The perfume I smelled on him once that definitely wasn't Claire's. And there was one night, months back, that still gnawed at me. Claire had been sick, really sick, bedridden with the flu, and Daniel claimed he had to go meet a client. He came home at 2 a.m., drunk, shirt wrinkled, lips swollen like he'd been kissing someone. I'd never told Claire because she looked so fragile propped up in bed, her hair matted, whispering, "Daniel's so good to me. He stayed up all night making me tea." I wanted to scream then. I wanted to tell her what I saw, but she wouldn't have believed me. She never did. That memory is what kept me awake at night after she cut me out of the wedding. Lying there, staring at my ceiling, rage humming under my skin like electricity. Because if Claire wanted a perfect album of perfect pictures with her perfect man, I had the power to ruin it. And not by showing up, by showing her the truth. I didn't go looking for it. That's the thing that kills me. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't plotting. The universe just shoved the truth in my face like it had been waiting for me to wake the hell up. It was a Friday night, about 3 weeks before the wedding. I'd gone out for a late coffee because sleep had become a joke lately. Sitting alone at Starbucks scrolling my phone, I saw a notification pop up. People you may know. And there he was. Daniel. Normally, I would have ignored it, but something about the girl in the profile picture caught me. She was tagged. Tall, brunette, leaning into him like she belonged there. Curiosity overrode good sense. I tapped her profile. Her name was Alyssa, 27, female. And within 2 minutes of scrolling, my stomach dropped through the floor. Pictures of her and Daniel, arms wrapped around each other at a bar. A blurry selfie of him kissing her cheek. A shot of them on a rooftop, champagne glasses in hand, captioned, "To us." These weren't old photos. They were time-stamped weeks ago. Weeks. As in, while Claire was losing her mind over centerpieces and calling him her soulmate, he was out kissing another woman. I sat there, hands trembling so bad I nearly dropped my phone. The cafe was warm, but I felt cold all over, like someone had dunked me in ice water. For a full hour, I just stared at the screen. My brain split in two. One side screaming, "Send this to Claire right now." The other whispering, "Wait, be smart. If you come in hot, she'll side with him. She always does." I knew my sister. If I barged in guns blazing, she'd accuse me of being jealous, bitter, desperate to ruin her big day. She wouldn't hear me. Not unless the truth was staring her down in a way she couldn't ignore. That's when the plan started to crystallize. Quiet, surgical, something she couldn't brush aside or laugh off as me being insecure. I screenshotted everything. Dozens of photos, captions, comments. Even the one where Alyssa tagged Daniel with a little heart emoji. Saved them all in a hidden folder. My pulse slowed as I worked, a strange calm taking over. Because now I wasn't just the sister they'd shoved aside. I was holding the matchbook to the whole damn wedding, and I was going to light it in a way Claire would never forget. Don't forget to subscribe. Update. Wow, I didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. Honestly, I thought maybe a handful of people would read it and tell me I wasn't crazy for feeling gutted by my own sister. Instead, my phone's been vibrating nonstop with comments, DMs, even a few people asking for wedding invites just to watch the chaos unfold. Y'all are unhinged, and I kinda love you for it. Some of the comments really stuck with me. One person said, "She's not protecting her wedding, she's protecting her fantasy. You're the only one who can pop it." And damn, that hit me. That's exactly what this is. Claire doesn't want me there because I remind her real life isn't a filtered Instagram story. Others told me to just send her the screenshots already. Believe me, I've thought about it. But if you knew my sister the way I do, you'd understand why that wouldn't work. Claire has this talent for twisting everything. If I confronted her now, she'd turn it into me being jealous, me being bitter, me trying to steal her spotlight. She's been doing it since we were kids. And Daniel? God, some of you nailed him better than I ever could. The finance bro trophy hunter comments had me actually laughing, even though I wanted to cry at the same time. One person said he sounds like the type of guy who would cheat on his wife during their honeymoon and call it a networking opportunity. Tell me that doesn't sound exactly like him. I've been sitting with this information for days now, trying to figure out how to handle it. Every time I look at the screenshots, my hands go cold. Not because I doubt what I should do, but because I know the fallout will be nuclear. Some of you said go scorched earth. Burn it all down. And trust me, that idea is tempting. But I want this to hit in a way that Claire can't spin. Something undeniable. Something immortalized in the very photos she cared so much about protecting from me. And I think I know exactly how to do it. No yelling, no messy confrontation, no screaming match where she gets to play the victim. Just one quiet gift. I'll keep you posted. The plan came together in the smallest, stillest moment. I was sitting at my kitchen table, staring at the stack of wedding mail that had accidentally been sent to my address. The glossy save-the-date card with Claire and Daniel smiling like models, his hand on her hip, her teeth flashing in perfect white. Across the bottom, "Forever starts here." I laughed out loud. Ugly, bitter. Forever? His forever lasted as long as Alyssa's lipstick. That's when it clicked. Photos had been the whole reason Claire erased me. She wanted her wedding album flawless, her social media immaculate. Pictures weren't just memories for her. They were proof, validation, the evidence of her perfect life. So I decided to give her a picture she could never crop out. I went to a little photo shop downtown. The owner, Mr. Harris, 61 male, Didn't ask questions, just helped me print a high-quality, glossy enlargement of the clearest shot I had. Daniel kissing Alyssa, hand tangled in her hair, no mistaking what it was. I had it framed in simple silver, elegant, understated. The kind of frame that belonged on a mantle, not in the middle of a scandal. When I held it in my hands, I felt this strange calm. Like all the humiliation and rage that had been tearing me apart settled into something sharp and precise. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to beg anyone to see the truth. The picture spoke for itself. Now came the delivery. I thought about slipping it to her at the rehearsal dinner. But no, I wanted maximum impact. I wanted her to unwrap it when she was at the peak of her princess fantasy, surrounded by people she needed to impress. The wedding. So I wrapped it carefully. White paper, silver bow, a neat little tag. To Claire, with love from Emily. Not dramatic, not vengeful, just quiet. The night before the wedding, I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining her face when she pulled the paper back. How her breath would catch, how the room would shift, how everyone would finally see what I'd been seeing for years. I lay in the dark whispering to myself. She wanted me gone so I wouldn't ruin her photos. Let's see her try to smile through this one. In the morning, I dressed simply. Black dress, low heels. Nothing flashy, nothing that could be used against me later. I walked into the venue carrying the gift like it was nothing more than a set of wine glasses. Nobody questioned me. Nobody even looked twice. And when I handed it to the pile of wedding presents, I felt my hands stop shaking for the first time in weeks. The match had been set. All that was left was to wait for the flame. Don't forget to subscribe. The wedding day was one of those cruelly perfect afternoons. Clear skies, gentle breeze, the kind of sunlight photographers dream about. Everything Claire had obsessed over for months was falling into place. Rows of white chairs faced a flower-draped arch. Guests in pastel outfits sipped champagne and complimented the decor. I sat in the back, invisible by design. People barely noticed me slip into the ceremony, and I didn't mind. I wasn't there to be seen. I was there to watch. The ceremony itself was sickeningly sweet. Claire floated down the aisle on Richard's arm, veil glimmering, Daniel waiting at the altar with that smug, practiced grin. They said their vows like they'd rehearsed them 100 times. The crowd clapped. The photographer snapped away, capturing every fake perfect second. But I wasn't thinking about vows. I was thinking about the gift table in the reception hall, wrapped packages stacked neatly, mine nestled among them like a snake in tall grass. When the ceremony ended, we moved inside. Music, laughter, clinking glasses. Claire glowed as people lined up to congratulate her. Daniel strutted around shaking hands like a politician. Janet hovered, fussing with Claire's train, whispering, "You look flawless, sweetheart." And then came the gifts. They started unwrapping after dinner, at Claire's insistence, because of course she wanted an audience for every expensive item she received. Blender, crystal vase, checks tucked into cards with glittery lettering. She cooed and posed for photos with each one. Then she picked up mine. I saw her face light with recognition when she read the tag. A flicker of something. Maybe surprise I'd even bothered. She ripped the paper with manicured fingers, silver bow falling away, and pulled the frame free. The second her eyes hit it, the room shifted. Her smile collapsed. Her hand trembled. For a beat too long, she just stared. And then her voice cracked through the hall. "What the hell is this?" The guests leaned forward. Daniel froze mid-sip of champagne, eyes snapping to the photo. It was all there, in crystal clarity. Him and Alyssa, lips locked, passion written all over their faces. No just friends excuse could touch it. Claire's face crumpled, then twisted. She hurled the frame across the room. It hit the floor with a sharp crack, glass splintering. Gasps echoed. "Daniel, what the fuck is this?" she screamed, mascara already streaking. He stammered, reaching for her arm, but she yanked away. "Baby, it's not what it looks like." "Oh my God," she shrieked, voice breaking. "It's exactly what it looks like. You were with her? You were with her while I was planning this?" Janet rushed forward, trying to hold her. but Claire shoved her back so hard Mom stumbled into the cake table. The three-tier masterpiece toppled, frosting smeared across white linens. The room dissolved into chaos. Guests whispered, phones came out, some actually recording. Richard tried to calm Claire, but she was inconsolable, screaming, sobbing, pounding her fists against Daniel's chest while he begged, pleaded, denied. And me? I sat there quietly, hands folded in my lap, watching the picture I'd placed detonate everything she thought was perfect. She didn't make it down the aisle after all. Update 2. So, it happened. The gift. The photo. The wedding that wasn't. I've been sitting here replaying it all in my head, and honestly, it was even messier than I imagined. Some of y'all said, drop the grenade and walk away. Well, I didn't even have to move. The grenade went off, and they tore themselves apart. First off, thank you to everyone who told me to stay calm, stay quiet. Best advice I've ever gotten. A lot of comments warned me that if I went in screaming, Claire would twist it and paint me as jealous. You were right. By doing nothing but handing her a neatly wrapped box, she did the work for me. She outed Daniel, and the whole room saw it. When she opened the gift, it was like watching a tower collapse in slow motion. 1 second she was glowing, smiling for the cameras. The next she was shrieking like a banshee, mascara running, chucking my frame across the room. Some guests gasped, others recorded. Yes, there's video. No, I'm not posting it here, but trust me, it's out there in family group chats. And Daniel? You guys pegged him. Smug until the very end, then sputtering like a car out of gas. It's not what it looks like, the oldest line in the book. People laughed. Actual laughter rippled through the room when he said it. Here's the kicker. Claire called the whole wedding off. Right then. Ripped off her veil, threw her bouquet on the floor, and screamed at everyone to get out. The DJ killed the music mid-song. Half the guests left in stunned silence. The other half stuck around to gawk like it was a reality show finale. Family fallout? Oh, it's nuclear. Janet has already called me 3 times sobbing about how I humiliated Claire on the most important day of her life. She actually said I should have come to her first with the photos so they could have handled it privately. Which is hilarious, because this is the same woman who told me to give Claire this one when I said she uninvited me. Suddenly, now it's my fault Daniel couldn't keep it in his pants? Sure, Mom. Richard, to his credit, just texted me. I saw the pictures. You did the right thing. Don't let her guilt you. Which is the most backbone I've ever seen from him. And Claire? Radio silence. Except I know she's spiraling because I've had 3 of her bridesmaids DM me nasty stuff. Everything from you ruined her life to hope you're happy being alone forever. Whatever. Am I happy? I don't know if that's the word. Relieved, maybe. Vindicated. Watching Daniel's mask crack in front of everyone, watching Claire's perfect little castle crumble. That felt like justice. But sitting here now, I can't shake the weight of it. I didn't just ruin a wedding. I ended a marriage before it started. I burned down the fantasy my sister built her whole identity around. And the craziest part? I don't regret it. Not even a little. The days after the wedding felt like aftershocks from an earthquake. The ground kept trembling, cracks opening wider with every phone call, every angry message. Claire didn't come at me directly at first. She used proxies. Old friends, bridesmaids, even one of Daniel's cousins messaged me, accusing me of destroying lives for attention. Screenshots of me circulated with captions like, snake and jealous sister. One girl posted a blurry photo of me at the reception with the caption, she smiled while Claire cried. They weren't wrong. I did smile. Then Claire herself broke the silence. It started with a phone call at 2 a.m. I didn't answer, but her voicemails piled up, slurred sobbing, then screaming, then this eerie whisper. You've ruined me, Emily. Are you happy now? I hope you rot. The next morning, I found my car keyed. Deep scratches carved across the driver's door. Bitch. I didn't see her do it, but I knew. Nobody else hated me that much. Janet, of course, defended her. She's hurting, Emily. Don't provoke her further. You have no idea the embarrassment she's facing. Embarrassment. That was the word she used. like Claire tripping on her heels, not watching her entire future implode because her fiancé couldn't stay faithful. Meanwhile, Daniel vanished. Word through the grapevine was that Alyssa blocked him after the wedding video went semi-viral on Facebook. The man who strutted like a king at the altar was suddenly a ghost. But Claire wouldn't let go. One afternoon, I came home to find her standing in my apartment hallway. Makeup smeared, eyes bloodshot, hair wild. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. She shoved past me before I could stop her. "You ruined everything," she shrieked, knocking a lamp off my side table. "Do you even realize what you've done?" I tried to stay calm. "Claire, Daniel cheated on you. I didn't ruin anything. He did." She threw a picture frame at the wall, glass shattering. "You could have told me privately. You didn't have to humiliate me in front of everyone." I stood my ground, heart pounding. "If I told you privately, would you have believed me? Or would you have accused me of being jealous, like always?" She froze then, breathing ragged, hands trembling. And for the first time, I saw it. Beneath the rage, she wasn't just angry, she was broken. But instead of softening, she spat at my feet and stormed out, slamming the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. Later, Richard texted me again. Just 3 words. "She'll thank you someday." I don't believe that. Not yet. Because right now, it feels like I didn't just destroy her wedding. I detonated my entire family. The final straw came 2 weeks after the wedding, at Sunday dinner. Janet insisted we all talk things out, like this was some sitcom misunderstanding. I almost didn't go, but Richard asked me quietly, "Please come." For me. So I showed up at their house, stomach in knots. Claire was already there. She looked hollow. Thin, pale, dark circles under her eyes. But the second she saw me, the fury sparked again. "You smug bee, you!" She spat across the table, silverware rattling as her hand slammed down. "You think you saved me? You think you're the hero? No, you're just jealous you'll never have what I had." "What you had was a liar who didn't respect you," I shot back, voice shaking but steady. "I didn't destroy your wedding, Claire. Daniel did. I just refused to let you live in his lie." She stood, chair screeching, and for a second I thought she was going to lunge at me. Janet jumped up, hands raised. "Enough! You've humiliated her enough, Emily. You've broken this family." That was it. I laughed, bitter, sharp. "No, Mom. This family was broken a long time ago. You just refused to see it." The room went dead silent. Claire's chest heaved like she was about to scream again, but Richard's voice cut through, low, steady, stronger than I'd ever heard it. "She's right." Everyone turned. Richard's hands trembled slightly as he set his fork down. "Emily did what none of us had the guts to do. She told the truth. And maybe the truth hurts, but I'm not going to sit here and blame her for Daniel's choices. Or for yours, Claire, for ignoring all the red flags because you wanted a fairy tale." Claire's eyes widened, then filled with tears. She stormed out, sobbing, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the china cabinet. Janet chased after her, calling her name, leaving Richard and me alone at the table. For a long time, we didn't speak. Then he just sighed and said, "You were right to do it. But it's going to be a long time before she forgives you." I don't know if she ever will. Honestly, I don't know if I care. Because here's the thing. For once, I wasn't the forgotten sister. I wasn't the afterthought shoved out of the picture so Claire could shine. I was the one who finally shattered the illusion. The one who forced her to face the truth she didn't want to see. Do I feel guilty? Sometimes. Watching her unravel, hearing her scream, it cut deeper than I expected. She's still my sister, even if she treats me like an enemy. But then I remember her words, "You'd ruin the photos." And I realize, I didn't ruin them. I made sure she never wasted her life posing for a lie.